Good morning, students. Today we'll read the history chapter 1, The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. Students, you would have heard about these words liberty, equality, democracy, republic, etc. are some such words which are the cornerstones of modern political system. Many thinkers as well as artists have visualized such thoughts. One such was Frederick Sorio, who prepared a series of paintings. Actually, he belongs to French. The first print of his painting was that in which he tried to show the Europe and the America. The men and women of all ages and social classes are shown in this image. They are moving in a long line and marching and offering homage to the Statue of Liberty as they pass by. In this image, even you can see the pictures of United States and Switzerland. They are leading the procession, both of which had already become nation states by the time. But the most interesting fact is that when Frederick Sorio has depicted this image, that is, when he has made this painting, even by that time Germany was not unified, it was not known as a nation state. In this picture or image, if you see the upper part, that is in the sky, you can see there are images of Christ, saints, and angels. They are gazing upon the scene. The artist has used them to symbolize fraternity among nations of the world. Even in this image, you can see the people are marching. They are in a queue, following, like you can see German people. Behind them we can see Australia, Kingdom of Two Sicilies, Lombardy, Poland, England, Ireland, Russia, and maybe other European countries. Now let us see what was the main reason behind the French Revolution. What was the condition before the French Revolution? Students, modern era is the era of nationalism and nation states. Now we all are living in independent nations. Most of the countries of the world are now independent and sovereign. They are called nation states. But if you look at the map of 18th century Europe, we will not find such nation states as we see them now. At that time, there was no such idea as a nation. What is nation? What is nationality? What is nationalism? Such feeling does not exist among the people in those days. Because these present European nations were divided into number of kingdoms, cantons. Canton means small region ruled by autonomous ruler or kingdom, a autonomous territory also you can say. Now, there was a saying by the Chancellor of Metternich that Italy is merely a geographical expression, it does not exist physically. He said this because of few reasons. The reasons were that people living in those regions did not see themselves as sharing a collective identity or a common culture. These people spoke different languages and belonged to different ethnic groups, and their customs and traditions were also totally different. They had such differences that it was almost impossible to promote a sense of unity in them. And if we can say that the only bond between them which made them together was that they were ruled by a common emperor. That's all. Now, we all know that what is nationalism, what is national feeling. Let us discuss about that. Nationalism may be understood as a deep love and equally deep sense of loyalty towards one's state or nation. In a simple way, we can say love and affection towards own motherland. Now, it took the form of a widespread movement which passed through various phases in the 18th century and the 19th century in Europe. You know, students, during the 19th century, nationalism emerged as a force which brought about sweeping changes in the European countries. That is, they wanted to become nation states. Now, in the place of multinational dynasties, they wanted to emerge as a nation states. The most important feature of these nation states was that not only its ruler but the majority of its citizens also came to develop a sense of common identity and history. They all wanted to share a common identity and history. In a short form, we can say the people who were living in particular kingdoms, and if they were sharing the common features, that is like religion, language, culture, tradition, such people wanted to live together and wanted to make a nation, to have their own identity. Now, let us see what happened during the French Revolution. What was the causes of the French Revolution? Students, the French Revolution of 1789 opened an era of reform, ultimately resulting in the establishment of liberal movements in Europe and everywhere. You know, there is a saying, very well saying, you might have heard also in previous class, that when France sneezes, whole of Europe catches cold. You know what is the meaning of this proverb? This proverb says that if any changes used to take place in France, any disturbance used to take place in France, its effect used to be there in entire Europe. That means the people of Europe were inspired by the French Revolution. Not only Europe, we can say people of other continent also were inspired by the French Revolution. You know, the revolution of 1789 blew a severe jolt to the Bourbon dynasty, who was ruling France from a long time. It dealt a severe blow to the authority of the monarchy and the political and constitutional changes that was existing in France under the monarchy was totally removed and was occupied by the French citizen. You know, the execution of Louis XVI was great victory of the revolutionaries. Their main aim was to overthrow the monarchy and establish democracy. But their happiness and enjoyment did not last for the long time. Soon, Napoleon Bonaparte came to power, and after coming to the power, he made few changes like the principles of liberty, equality and fraternity, for which the French Revolution was fought, was almostly suppressed. However, when he returned to power, he also established monarchy. Napoleon had no doubt that he has destroyed democracy in France, but in the administration field, he did some better work, and among them was that the Civil Code of 1804, that is 1804, which is also known as Napoleonic Code. He simplified administrative divisions, abolished the feudal lords system, and freed peasants from serfdom and manorial dues. Napoleon implemented this code in the regions which were under the control of France, such as Dutch Republic, Switzerland, Italy, and Germany. But even Napoleon could not continue his progress or his achievement for a long time. In the year 1814, he was defeated in the Battle of Waterloo. After his defeat, he was sent to an island known as Saint Helena. Later, the nations who fought against the Napoleon, they met at Vienna, which is the capital city of Austria, to frame up the future policies of Europe. Now, in this conference or in this meeting, the countries like Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria, who collectively defeated Napoleon, met and wanted to do settlement of Europe. The head of this was the Congress, or you can say the Prince Metternich, or you can say the Chancellor of Austria. He was very annoyed person. He did not want to hear the word revolution and was very strict and opposing to any changes which was made by the Napoleon. He wanted to establish the old regime. That's why he had changed totally the policies which were made by the Napoleon, and the people who supported Napoleon were badly punished, penalized. At the same time, the people who supported Napoleon were awarded, rewarded. So student, this was till the downfall of Napoleon and Congress of Vienna. Will continue the remaining part tomorrow. That's all.